We're here with the 2026 U.S. Solheim Cup captain, Angela Stanford. Angela, you're here with your three assistants repping the USA. It's real now. How have the last few months been since we announced this exciting news back in Phoenix?
It's been great. It's been great doing all the things kind of behind the scenes. And, you know, I think it did kind of hit home. You know, it kind of, I don't know, just being here with all three assistants, and I kind of told them, I'm kind of like looking over my shoulder for like Stacy or Pat, or like I'm not really used to being the captain yet. Like, it's weird when you've been an assistant 3 times. There's always somebody that is going to make the decision for you. So it kind of hit me last night at dinner when we had some of the ladies with us, and it was a great team dinner. And that was probably the first moment that it really kind of hit me, and in a good way. So it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it, and yeah.
What's some of the early pieces that you've started working on before you came here this week?
So I think we're pretty close to having the bag finished. Really starting to move with the clothes. So they're, you know, those kind of things that are important pieces. I've started really paying attention to stats now. We, you know, hopefully we'll get some of that tied up soon and know which direction we're going with stats. And so there are some things that are, you know, we've kind of been getting in order, and hopefully they're going to come to an end soon to where we know, okay, we're moving forward with this, we're doing this with the clothing. So yeah, it's been fun, because I told somebody at home, like, I feel like I do something every day for it, whether it's watching the players, whether it's, you know, talking to the LPGA team. But I love it. I mean, it truly is my passion. Like, it doesn't feel like work. I don't, you know, I had a hard time sleeping last night because you know, there's like a different type of adrenaline to anything Solheim related.
And has it helped maybe fill that gap a little bit now that you're not playing actively anymore? It still gives you some transition time to being out here somewhat?
Oh, yeah. It's been a blessing in that regard, that 1, I can give it that much time, and 2, it has filled the time. I mean, I miss competing, like I miss playing, but I also know that I'm happy where I am, and I get to give Solheim everything I got. And so yeah, it's been nice to kind of fill the time.
Good. We'll open it up down here. Beth Ann or Sarah, who wants to go first?
And obviously you're doing this with 3 of your best friends, both when you were a player on Solheim Cup teams. How special is it to share this experience with those 3 in particular, knowing how close you are to them?
It's been, well, this is the first time we've actually physically all been together, and my gut knew that it was going to be good, but it's been awesome. Like, I mean, they're hilarious. Like, I'm pretty reserved. Like, I'm pretty, you know, I wouldn't say I'm the funniest person. I wouldn't say I talk a lot, and I love that I don't have to do that. Like, I get to just drive the car and listen. And so it's been great. We were sitting at lunch yesterday, and I was crying laughing. So it's been good to actually see it work the way you thought it would.
I know you and Paula were out quite a bit last season, and even now, Beelang obviously just had her second, and then K-Mac's not out as much. Did you have to introduce players to either of them at all, or do people kind of come up and like introduce themselves to them thinking they wouldn't know?
I think for the most part, they kind of know who they are, and I think that's why it was so important for us to at least come at the end of this year to just let people see all of us together. And I think there's something in seeing a group of people, like seeing us all on the same page. They can tell we're having a good time. Like, there's something to that. Like, I can tell you until I'm blue in the face that, yeah, we're having a great time. But for people to see it, and it's very natural, and the team needs to see that. So I think it's been a really, really good day and a half so far. And so, yeah, so far so good.
And if you could just speak to what Paula, Brittany, and K-Mac kind of individually bring to kind of maybe fill some of the gaps where you felt like you needed a gap filled.
Yeah, I mean, you know, K-Mac is not scared to talk to you. I mean, K-Mac is not scared, just, you know, and she's really good with numbers. I mean, like, we were having a conversation with Pat Bradley, and she just kind of starts like the numbers and how fast she can, like we were talking about Solheim points and stuff like that, and she just spits it out, and I'm like, my brain didn't even go to, I'm still thinking about 14 and a half, like, and she's already past that. So I know she is, when it comes to figuring out evens and odds and stats, and she's the numbers person. Lang is so chill. Lang is so laid back, and it seems like everybody that she's come across this week is just, they're so happy to see her. So that she kind of gives us that chill vibe. And then, I mean, Paula, we are determining is the fanciest of all of us. I don't know why it took us so long to figure this out, but Paula definitely brings our look up. I told her to at least average. So, because the other three of us are pretty casual with our attire, I guess. But Paula's very, she can be both. Like, she can be funny and laid back, and then she can get serious. Like, when we're out kind of watching golf, like, you kind of see her lock in. And so she picks up on more than people think that she does sometimes. And so it's going to be fun, especially going to the Netherlands pretty soon, taking her over, and it's going to be fun.
Kind of joked at the beginning about, is this on? Yeah. Kind of joked in the beginning about Keegan, but seriously though, what if you were in his position, which quite clearly you're not going to be, but how would you make a decision like that if you were him?
I just think there's so much that we don't know. Like, perfect example. He played the golf course a ton in college. Does he feel like he can use that knowledge the best playing? Or does he feel like he can use that knowledge the best as a captain? Pairings. Who does he think, if there's a spot that somebody can't be paired, that maybe Keegan can be paired with him, does he pick himself for that? Like, I think there's so many things behind the scenes that we don't know. If you're just looking at it, he's obviously one of the best. If you're going to pick 6, he's one of the 6. But I keep kind of going back to, are you going to prepare as a player or as a captain? Because if you're going to prepare as a player, you're doing the practice rounds, you're getting your game ready, you're kind of giving up some of that to your assistants, which he may very well be ready for. They may have already prepared for that. And then if you decide to play, you don't get to wear the headset. So you're going to be playing and not knowing everything else that's going on that morning session or afternoon session. You see the scoreboards, but then you have to trust your assistants to make those pairings changes. If something isn't going right, do you have your plan in place? And do you trust them enough to be like, okay, if XYZ happens and I'm on the course, because they have to be similar. I mean, they have to have their pairings, and I'm sure an hour after those first matches are done. So I think there's so much more to it that we just don't know, and I believe he has to trust himself. Like, that's it. Can't talk to anybody, you know. I think if he can be comfortable and trust himself with his decision, I think everybody will be happy whatever he chooses.
What do you think the pressure would be like as a playing captain?
It kind of gave me chills, because you just don't have this many opportunities. But you're wearing 2 hats, and it's already so much pressure as a player. It's almost, I've watched Pat and Stacy and the captains I've played for, like, so much pressure as a captain. So it's kind of like you're doubling up. And I mean, it would be fun to watch, but I just think he has to be really confident and trust himself.
And then going back to your dinner, can you give us an idea of how many players were there and how many potential rookies were there?
Oh, gosh, I didn't think about the rookies. I can go through it pretty quickly, I think. 1, 2, 3. I think we only had like 4 possible rookies. We had like 12 show up. And I have to say, like, I kind of sprung this on them. Like, they got the invitation last Thursday. So there were other sponsor commitments, you know, last night. And I was really impressed that so many showed up, and that the ones that didn't told me why. for the most part, and I was really impressed. They seemed to have a great time. It was fun to kind of watch them all interact, and so, yeah, it was a good night.
How are you looking forward to kind of carrying the mantle that Stacy kind of brought back, it seems like, to the team forward in your captaincy?
I mean, Stacy obviously did a lot of great things. I probably won't lean in to the stats as much as she did. I think we definitely need them, but I'm also very old school, and that numbers can guide you and numbers can tell you a story, but then what you see is also extremely important. So I think they're going to guide us. I like how she's brought some of the past into just recognize, the players now need to learn some of the past of the Solheim Cup. And so I think she did a lot of great things to continue to build and continue to put us on a path to keep getting better and better.
You talk about the past. You mentioned Pat Bradley, obviously on site at FM, kind of her tournament out here. How cool is it for you to interact with not only a past Solheim Cupper, a past Solheim Cup captain, but somebody just as legendary to American golf as Pat is to us in the LPGA?
We had a blast sitting there talking to her. Like, it was the four of us and Pat Bradley just hanging out in the Mass Golf House right here. And we talked about Keegan a lot. She's so nervous for him. And it was so cute. Like, it was fun just to hear her talk. And she talked about 2000 Solheim Cup, and we got to walk through her room. We talked about some of the history of the LPGA, and it's just so important. Like, we talked about that the LPGA hasn't always had a qualifying school. Like, used to, you could just kind of pay your dues and somebody would accept you. I never knew there were two parts to they had one Q school at the beginning of the year, and then there was another one in July. I didn't know that. So I think it's really important for the greats of our tour to be visible. And I kind of wish we could figure out how to get more of them to tournaments, because I feel like I have a pretty good idea of our history, but I learned a lot today. So I love any time I get to talk to somebody like Pat Bradley, and I love that she's here, and I love that she wants to be involved. So hopefully we get more veterans to come out.
I'm going to change subject a little bit. Earlier this week, you got a nice first. You got to head to Queens and go to the U.S. Open tennis, thanks to our friends at Rolex. What was that experience like?
That was awesome. Rolex was nice enough to invite me, and that was the first time I'd been to a professional tennis tournament. Everybody was really nice. I thought being in the suite and sitting kind of at the net, I had the perfect seat. And then we were allowed to go down and kind of sit on the baseline, like first row baseline. And quite frankly, I was nervous. Like, I felt like I was right in the middle of it. And it felt like I was standing on the first tee with somebody teeing off. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. Like, I'm so nervous. It was intense, like, because you honestly felt like you were in it. And it was so cool, like, to see the different angles. That's the one part I love about tennis, how you can move somebody around. So it was fun to watch the players kind of move and, like, why they were hitting it, to whether it was their backhand or forehand. So it was a once-in-a-lifetime memorable experience that I'm so grateful I got to be a part of.
And then you're here wearing the USA hat right now. I think come Thursday that hat gets swapped out, and you are going to be on the course, but spending some time with ESPN Plus. How has that been, working on that this year and seeing yet another side of this job?
I love the featured groups. I love what ESPN Plus does. I think a really interesting part of golf is seeing the entire round. Like, you get to watch them from start to finish, and you get to see the ebbs and the flows of a round. And I think a lot of times you turn on golf and you're turning on the back nine, and really the front nine could influence what has happened the entire day. Mm-hmm. Like, why is somebody playing good or why is somebody playing bad? So I think I really enjoy that part of it, that I get to follow them the whole round, because you start off knowing, okay, maybe we're going to talk about this, and then you can go so many different ways by how the course is playing, their mood, like what they look like, their body language. Are they hitting it right? Are they hitting it left? So there's so many things you can talk about from the start to finish, and you get to see it if you turn on ESPN Plus.
There you go. Any other questions for Angela? All right, well, thanks, Captain. We appreciate your time. Have fun out there.
Thank you.